Hello my dear students, a very good afternoon to all of you. Welcome back to your favorite channel NEET World. This is Vasavi Ma'am, your biology educator. Yes, so students, in the last session we have done with the respiratory volumes and the capacities, right? Yes. So once I am going to revise quickly to all of you about the under the respiratory volumes we have studied about the tidal volume, and the next one inspiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume, and the last one is yes students, okay, inspiratory reserve volume, yes, expiratory reserve volume and tidal volume, next residual volume, right my dear students? Yes. So coming towards the today's particular session, okay. So along with the respiratory volumes we have also done with the capacities, right my dear students? The respiratory capacities. Under the respiratory capacities we have understood about the inspiratory capacity, functional residual capacity, and the next one tidal volume, okay, total lung capacity. Along with that we have also understood about the vital capacity, right my dear students? Yes. So this is all about the previous session whatever we have done, okay. So students, from this particular chapter the respiratory volumes and the respiratory capacities are most important concept to be remembered for both the IPE point of view as well as for the NEET point of view, okay. So if you people are going to feel difficulty and if you are going to forget any of the respiratory volumes or the capacities, then it becomes very difficult to answer every particular question my dear students, okay. So from my side, if you have any doubts regarding with that particular topics, please let me know in the comment sections, okay. Yes. So coming towards the today's particular session, today we are going to discuss how the exchange of gases is going to take place from the tissues to the blood vessels, okay. So how the exchange of gases is going to takes place inside the alveolus, okay. So this concept we are going to discuss today. So all the online students, please stay tuned until the session gets end. Yes. So coming towards the exchange of gases, yes. So once yes students, those who are watching this particular session, just quickly answer me, what is the main site for the exchange of gases, okay. So where actually the exchange of gases is going to takes place. Yes, already we have done this, how the exchange of gases is going to takes place and what are the respiratory tracts and what are the main organs or the parts involved in that, okay. So completely this session has been done, okay. So the students who has watched those particular session, so you people are going to understand what we are discussing, okay. Yes. So how the exchange of gases is going to takes place in the sense, yes students, okay. So here the exchange of gases, okay, under the exchange of gases the alveoli, okay, the main site for the exchange of gases is alveolus my dear students, okay. So already I have said you, whenever we are going to inhale with the help of the respiratory tract, under the respiratory tract, okay, whenever we are inhaling the inhaled oxygen, it is going to transport to the, yes, from the nostrils to the trachea, and the next it is going to, the trachea is going to be bifurcated, the next it is going to divide into bronchus, bronchi, bronchioles, okay. So up to the, starting from the external nostrils to the bronchioles, it is called as respiratory tract, right my dear students. But the exchange of gaseous is going to take place at the main site, that is called as alveolus, okay. So it is called as alveolus. So now we need to understand how the gaseous exchange is going to takes place and how it is going to be transferred from the alveolus and how it is going to reach to the tissues, right. Yes. So this is the alveolus, right. Yes. So this is the alveolus, and in the alveolus the inhaled air, okay, that is nothing but during the inspiration whatever the oxygen we are going to take inside the alveolus, okay, the oxygen is going to be transported and it is going to be filled inside the alveolus, right my dear students. Yes. So inside the alveolus, the pressure of the oxygen is 104, okay, 104, yes, millimeter mercury, okay. Is it clear to all of you? Yes. So inside the alveolus the pressure of the oxygen, okay, the partial pressure of the oxygen, partial pressure in the sense, so So whenever we are going to inhale, not only the oxygen, my dear students, along with the oxygen many gases we are going to inhale, right. So when compared to all the gases, whatever we have inhaled, the pressure exerted by the oxygen on all the gases is called as partial pressure, okay. Right, clear with this particular definition, partial pressure? Partial pressure is nothing but the pressure exerted by only one gas on all the gases, okay. So here we require the oxygen, right. So here the pressure exerted by the oxygen on all the gases is called as partial pressure of the oxygen, okay. So if it is carbon dioxide, then it is called as partial pressure of the carbon dioxide, which exerts the pressure on all the different types of gases, right. So here whenever we inhale the oxygen, the pressure of the oxygen inside the alveolus is very high, and that is 104 mmHg, okay. And next one, whenever we are going to exhale, okay. So just leave about the exhalation process, first try to understand the inhalation, okay. Whenever we inhale the oxygen, its pressure inside the alveolus is 104 mmHg, okay. But when compared to the oxygen, the carbon dioxide pressure is very low inside the alveolus. What is the pressure of carbon dioxide, my dear students? It is approximately 40 mmHg, okay. Yes. So if this diagram is not visible to, if it's not visible to you, then I am going to write here, my dear students. So just understand, okay. So this particular diagram is extracted from your NCERT itself. So easily you can practice and understand, okay. So clear about these pressure inside the alveolus, okay. So students, in the diffusion process, okay. So during the diffusion process, always the gaseous is going to flow from high concentration gradient to the low concentration only, right. From the higher partial pressure to the low partial pressure only the gaseous is going to flow, isn't it or not? So now you need to understand inside the alveolus which gas pressure is more, obviously oxygen only, right. So here the oxygen concentration, that is nothing but the pressure of the oxygen is more here. So then as it is more here, then this oxygen has to be transferred to the pulmonary vein, okay. So why it has to transfer to the pulmonary vein? Because inside the pulmonary veins the pressure of the oxygen is very low, okay. So the pressure of the oxygen in the pulmonary veins is low, hence the pressure, okay, the oxygen from the alveolus it is going to transfer, and then next it is going to enter into the pulmonary vein, okay. So in this way the gas is going to flow from higher to the lower partial pressure, right. So now from where the pulmonary vein is going to be arised, okay. So it actually starts from the lungs, okay. So the pulmonary veins are going to start from the lungs, and then next it is connected to the heart, my dear students, clear. So clear up to this. So now from this particular point, okay, try to understand here. Yes students, okay. So here if you see, this is pulmonary vein, okay. Pulmonary vein, what is the main role of the pulmonary vein? So just simply nothing but it is going to transport the oxygenated blood, okay. It is going to carry the oxygenated blood, right. So from the pulmonary vein, okay. So here if you see, it is of double circulation, my dear students, okay, which is going to take place in between the heart to the lungs. So clear up to the pulmonary vein. So now understand here, from the heart, from the left part of the heart, okay, from the left part of the heart, if you see here, yes, from the left part of the heart the aorta is going to arise, okay. The systemic arteries are going to be arised. Again these systemic arteries are also going to carry the oxygen, okay. These systemic arteries are also going to carry the oxygenated blood, okay. So now this will be the systemic artery, and next one, this will be the systemic veins, okay. Systemic veins and systemic arteries are going to be arise from the heart itself, okay. So whenever the systemic, this blue colored structure, can you see here, my dear students? Yes. So this systemic artery is going to carry the deoxygenated blood, okay. Systemic artery will carry the deoxygenated blood, and the pulmonary veins will carry the oxygenated blood, and the next one from the heart the largest aorta, okay, that is going to be arise, that is called as systemic arteries, okay, and this will be the systemic veins, okay. Systemic arteries, what they are going to do here, again they are going to carry the oxygen, and at this particular point, okay, so in between these two arteries, okay, in between the left systemic arteries and right systemic arteries, in these left systemic arteries the pressure of the oxygen, okay, again here you need to understand about the pressure of the oxygen, okay. So at this particular point, in between these arteries, the pressure of the oxygen here is 95 mmHg, okay, and the next one, the pressure of the carbon dioxide inside the systemic veins, okay, which is going to carry here the deoxygenated blood, okay. So whenever it is going to carry the deoxygenated blood from the systemic veins, okay, so that pressure of the carbon dioxide is 40 mmHg, okay. So clear, my dear students, in between these two arteries, okay, in between these two systemic arteries and systemic veins, so here the pressure of the oxygen, okay. So all this red colored structure, whatever I am going to draw here, this is completely, it is going to carry the oxygenated blood, and the next it is going to be delivered to the tissues, my dear students, okay. So still we didn't deliver it to the tissues, before that understand here the pressure, okay. So in the systemic arteries, which is going to carry here the oxygenated blood, okay. So here the pressure of oxygen at this particular point, the pressure of oxygen is more, okay, more in the sense it is of 95 mmHg, okay. But here which is going to carry the deoxygenated blood, and here that particular pressure is 40 mmHg, right. So now here you need to understand which pressure is more, partial pressure, the pressure of oxygen is more in the arteries, hence the oxygen is going to be transferred from these arteries to the tissues, okay, the oxygen enters into the tissues, and the next one, next we need to transport the carbon dioxide, right. So now in the tissue level, in the tissues, the pressure of the oxygen is 40 and the pressure of carbon dioxide is 45 mmHg, right. So in the tissues, okay, up to here it is done, my dear students, okay. In the systemic arteries, the pressure of the oxygen is 95 and the next one, in the systemic veins, the pressure of the carbon dioxide is just only 40. So okay, so as we need to transport the oxygen and we need to transport the gases from high pressure to the low pressure, here in between the arteries the pressure of the oxygen is more, hence we need to transfer, okay, we need to hence it is going to flow from higher to the lower pressure, right. So hence here the pressure is more, hence it is going to enter into the tissues, because inside the tissues the pressure of oxygen is very less. But inside the tissues only, when compared to the oxygen, the carbon dioxide pressure is more, my dear students, okay. The carbon dioxide pressure is more here, see here, okay. The pressure of oxygen is only 40 mmHg, whereas inside the tissues pressure of the carbon dioxide is 45, okay. So 5%, okay, 5% is going to be varied here, okay. So when the carbon dioxide is more here and when it is less here, then again we need to transport the carbon dioxide to this systemic veins, okay. So then again from here all the deoxygenated blood is going to be carried, and the next it is going to be delivered to the pulmonary arteries, okay. So in this way the oxygenated blood is going to be transferred from the alveoli, okay. So in this way the exchange of gases is going to take place, and the exchange of gases is always based on the pressure gradient, my dear students, okay. So the diffusion is the main process which is involved and which is going to be helpful for exchange of gases, okay. Already have done and I have explained you about the main characteristics of the respiratory organs, okay. So for the respiration purpose, okay, for the respiration and for the exchange of gases, the diffusion is the main process, right. So mainly the main site for the exchange of gases is alveoli only, right. So in the external environment the oxygen percentage is more, but whenever the oxygen is going to enter, okay, whenever it is going to enter into our alveolus, okay, during the inhalation, during the inspiration process, whenever the oxygen enters into our alveolus, the pressure and the percentage of the oxygen is going to be decreased, and finally it is going to be converted into 104 mm Hg here. Okay. And next from the alveolus, next it is going to be delivered to the pulmonary veins, okay, which is going to carry the oxygenated blood. And next one, as here when compared to the carbon dioxide, the pressure of oxygen is more, hence the gaseous is going to be transferred from higher to the lower pressure. And next one, from the left side, okay, from the left side of the heart, the systemic aorta is going to be arised. From here the oxygenated blood gets transferred and the oxygenated blood will deliver to the tissues. Okay. So, in the systemic arteries again the pressure of oxygen is more, but inside the tissues the pressure of oxygen is less, hence we need to transfer it from pulmonary veins, okay, from the systemic arteries to the tissues. And inside the tissues again the concentration of the carbon dioxide is more, but inside the systemic veins the concentration is less, hence here from here the carbon dioxide is going to be delivered to the systemic veins. Okay. So, from here the deoxygenated blood is delivered to the heart, and then next from the heart it is going to be delivered to the pulmonary artery. Okay. Clear my dear students, all the online students? Yes. So, this is all about the exchange of gases, how it is going to be transferred from higher pressure to the lower pressure. So, first this will be the alveolus, where the main site, okay, this is the main site where actually the exchange of gases is going to takes place. Okay. Next, okay, after this the main step is again we need to deliver the oxygen to the tissues. Okay. So, from there the deoxygenated blood will again reach to the alveolus. Okay. In return they are going to give the carbon dioxide out with the help of systemic veins and pulmonary arteries, my dear students. Okay. So, clear? So, if you have any doubts, please let me know in the comment section. Once again I am going to show you the main NCERT theory. Okay. By that it becomes clear to all of you, my dear students. Yes. So, have a look here. Yes. Once again everyone focus on this particular slide, by that it becomes very easy to all of you, my dear students. Okay. No need to confuse at all, but you need to understand the concept. Okay. The diagrammatic representation is most important. Okay. See here, alveoli are the primary sites for the exchange of gases, right, as I have said you. Yes. And next one, exchange of gases also occurs in between tissues and blood. Isn't it or not, my dear students? Whatever the oxygen we have inhaled, that has to be transferred, that has to be transported to the entire body only, right. So, next the exchange will be in between the tissues and blood. Okay. So, this will be of one exchange. And next one, see here, my dear students, oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged in these sites. In which sites? In the alveoli, by the process of simple diffusion. Okay. By the process of simple diffusion. And once if you remember, I have also said you that the main characteristic of the respiratory organ is the surface area has to be large, and then next it has to be continuously surrounded with the blood vessels and capillaries, right. So, then only the exchange of gases is going to be taken place very easily, okay, by the simple diffusion only, right, my dear students. And next one, it is mainly based on pressure concentration gradient. Okay. So, the exchange of gases is depend on the pressure. Okay. It is mainly dependent on the pressure only. If the pressure is more, then only it is going to be transferred, and then only it is going to be delivered to the tissues and blood by the process of simple diffusion. Next, it is also going to depend, okay, the exchange of gases is also going to be depend on what? It is mainly dependent on solubility. Okay. If the gas is more soluble, then more amount of gas is going to be taken place, and more amount of the gaseous exchange is going to be happen inside the blood and tissues and inside the alveolus. Okay. But if the solubility is very less, then we can't. Okay. Exchange of gases, okay, solubility of exchange of gases as well as thickness of the membranes involved in the diffusion. Okay. Yes, students. So, once look into this. So, whenever the exchange of gases, okay, so the exchange of gases is also going to depend on the thickness of the membranes. Okay. So, actually we are also going to discuss about the respiratory membranes. So, I am going to explain you after this, but just have a look here. The membranes should be thin. Okay. It has to be surrounded by the simple epithelial cells, okay, it has to be surrounded and supplied by the simple epithelial tissues, then only we can transfer easily with the help of diffusion, okay. So, if the tissues and if the system is more complicated, then it becomes difficult to exchange the gases, okay. See here, involved in diffusion, also some important factors that can affect the rate of diffusion, okay. See, the partial pressure of the oxygen in alveolar air is 104 mm mercury, right, isn't it or not? Once if you take the screenshot of those this particular diagram, then it becomes easy to all of you. Already it has been given in your standard Telugu academy textbooks as well as in the NCERT textbooks also, my dear students, okay. So, first you need to understand the pressure of oxygen, carbon dioxide in the alveoli. Next you need to understand the pressure of both the carbon dioxide and oxygen in the systemic arteries and systemic veins, and next you need to understand the pressure in between the tissues and in between the arteries, okay. So, then it becomes easy to all of you. Yes. So, the pressure, the partial pressure of oxygen in alveolar air is 104 mm mercury, already we have done it, and its value in arterial blood is 40. So, oxygen goes from alveolar air to the arterial air, okay. So, isn't it or not, my dear students? See here. So, this particular point is explaining us about, see, about this one, okay. The pressure of oxygen here is more and the pressure of carbon dioxide is 40, okay. So, next as the oxygen is more inside the alveoli, then next we need to transfer it to these pulmonary veins, okay. So, this is nothing but the exchange of gases, okay. So, once again have a look here, my dear students, okay. So, this is all about the theory, whatever I have explained you, that is displayed over here. Yes, you can take the screenshot if you want. Yes, students, yes. So, once again, yes, clear all of you about the exchange of gases. If you have any doubts, please let me know in the comment section. Yes, yes, okay. So, once again have a look on this particular slide, okay. Yes, diffusion membrane, okay. So, the diffusion is the main process through which we can exchange the gases, right. But behind that we need to understand, to exchange the gases, how many membranes are involved in these alveoli, okay. How many membranes are involved to inhale and exhale, okay. Whenever we are going to inhale the oxygen, to reach, okay, to transport that oxygen to the blood and to all the body parts, okay, to cross the oxygen and to circulate the oxygen, it has to cross few most important membranes, that is called as respiratory membranes, okay. So, this is nothing but, yes students, so actually this has been given in your textbooks again, okay. So, try to understand, the diffusion membrane is made up of three major layers, namely thin squamous epithelium, okay. So, before that just have a look on this, focus on this particular visual here. Yes, what it is? Alveoli, right, the balloon like structure, it is called as alveoli, yes. So, whenever we are going to inhale the oxygen, okay, let me choose the another color, yes. So, whenever we are going to inhale, okay, what we inhale, my dear students, we inhale the oxygen from the external environment, right. So, next this oxygen we need to transport to the blood cells and blood capillaries, and from there it is going to be circulated and distributed to the entire body, right. But before that, this oxygen, to transport this oxygen to the entire body, it has to cross few most important membranes, okay. So, that is nothing but this will be the alveoli, okay. So, this will be the alveoli, and the alveoli is made up of the simple squamous epithelium, okay. Can you see here? This is made up of the simple squamous epithelium, okay. So, it is made up of simple squamous epithelial tissue, right. And next one, can you see this gap, my dear students, here, the yellow colored structure, okay. So, this is called as the basement substance, okay. It is called as basement substance, not basement membrane, it is called as the space in between the blood capillaries and in between the alveoli, that space is called as basement substance, okay. So, I am going to explain you just, okay. So, this particular space here, whatever it is present over in between the blood vessels and the alveoli, this particular space only is called as basement substance, okay. And next one, here, okay, if you see, this is called as blood vessels, okay, right. These are called as what, my dear students? These are called as blood capillaries, okay. Inside the capillaries, okay, the blood is going to be flow, and these blood capillaries are surrounded internally by the endothelium, okay, internally it is lined by the endothelium, and next one, externally it is covered by the basement membrane, isn't it? From the external side it is covered by the, yes, basement membrane, okay. So, once again I am drawing here, suppose if this will be the blood capillaries, right. So, internally it is made up of endothelial cells, okay, endothelium, okay, and externally again it is covered by what, my dear students? From the external side it is covered by the basement membrane, okay. So, here will be the alveolus, and same again alveoli are again lined by the simple squamous epithelial cells, okay, and again here it is made up of the basement membrane, and this is also called as basement membrane, okay, and this will be of endothelium cells, okay, just endothelial tissue, okay, isn't it? Now, in between this what we can find? We can find the empty substance, okay, not empty, we can say it is called as the basement substance, okay. So, just again imagine it as basement substance, okay, isn't it or not? So, now completely how many membranes are involved in exchange of gases, okay, how many respiratory membranes are involved in the exchange of gases. So, clearly it is nothing but one will be the simple squamous epithelium, simple squamous epithelial cells, okay. So, students, already this diagram has been given in your textbooks, and here is also it has been represented. Just for the understanding purpose I have made you the hypothetical diagram here, yes, okay. So, this will be the simple squamous epithelium of the alveoli, that will be of one membrane, and next one basement membrane, okay, the basement membrane of the alveoli and the basement membrane of the blood capillaries, okay. So, this will be of the second membrane, and the third membrane is nothing but the endothelial membrane of the blood capillaries, okay. So, completely 3 membranes are involved in exchange of gases. So, whenever we are going to inhale the oxygen with the help of the diffusion, okay, due to the presence of the simple squamous epithelial cells, and by the process of the diffusion, easily the oxygen is going to diffuse and easily it is going to be transported to the blood capillaries, and then next it is going to transport to the tissues and entire body, okay. So, clear, my dear students, this is all about the respiratory membranes. It is very easy to understand, so it is not that much complicated, I can say. If you look into the theory, then again it becomes easy to all of you, yes. So, once again have a look on the theory, my dear students. The diffusion membrane is mainly made up of how many membranes? 3 membranes only, right. So, 3 membranes, namely thin squamous epithelium of alveoli, okay. For the alveoli, one epithelium is present, that is called as simple squamous epithelium. Next, the endothelium of the alveolar capillaries and the basement substance in between them, however, its total thickness is much less than a millimeter, okay. So, already we have said that the thickness is also going to be matter, my dear students, okay. Whenever if it is too much thick, then we cannot transport the gases, okay, then we cannot exchange the gases more easily, okay. So, hence the thickness is very small, it is approximately, yes, it is much less than the millimeter, okay. So, hence that is the reason the exchange of gases will takes place easily by the process of diffusion, clear? Clear with the respiratory membrane. So, once again I am explaining you, this will be the alveoli. Alveoli is made up of simple squamous epithelium and it is surrounded by the basement membrane. In between this we can find the space that is called as basement substance is present. Outside to this basement substance, blood vessels are present, okay. That blood capillaries are lined internally by the endothelium and externally by the basement membrane, okay. So, squamous epithelium plus basement membrane, next blood capillaries, okay, endothelium cells and the basement membrane of the blood capillaries, and in between these two basement substance, okay. So, completely squamous epithelium, basement membrane and the endothelium, okay. So, these three are the most important membranes involved in the respiration process, involved in the exchange of gases in the respiration process. Okay. So, this is the reason how easily we can diffuse the gases. Okay. So, this is all about the how gaseous exchange is going to take place, how the partial pressure of both the carbon dioxide and oxygen is going to be vary, and this is all about the respiratory membranes, my dear students. Okay. So, in the next upcoming session we are going to discuss few more interesting topics related to this particular chapter only, and we are also going to solve a few NEET as well as AP set PYQs. Yes. So, please like, share and subscribe to NEET World. Stay tuned.